So I'm going to tell you something that's going to save you time, effort, and just the exhaustion of trying to figure out why you can't get abs. There's a specific reason for it. And if you're like me, years go by and you continually do ab workouts and you're lifting 45-pound weights, you're strong as heck, but you can't see those abs and you don't understand why. You just, for some reason, maybe they tell you it's genetic. You can't understand why you can't see your abs. And I'm going to tell you today, it's something that I figured out, I stumbled upon, but it ended up changing my life when it came to abs. It doesn't come from ab workouts, and it doesn't come from strengthening your abs as much as you possibly can. It comes from your gut. And I'm going to tell you why in this video. If you're like me, you struggled with this for years and could not figure out a reason why you couldn't see your abs. No matter how much you trained, I would go to the gym every single day and knock out maybe 10, 15, 20 minutes of ab workouts as strong as I possibly could until I was exhausted. I just wouldn't see my abs. What I ended up figuring out was it doesn't come from ab workouts. It comes from your gut health. The reason why you can't see your abs is just because there's something in the way. And what's in the way is storage from your gut. A lot of the time you'll hear this where it doesn't come from ab workouts, it comes from nutrition, and there's a reason why. Your gut stores things pretty much where your abs are. So if you do not eat healthy and you don't eat the proper foods, your gut is just going to be storing fat in the way of your abs forever, and you're never going to see it. I used to sit here and have literally just the top two showing, and then the rest of them just would not be able to show. And I never could understand why until I stumbled across this. I stopped eating sugar. That was one of the main reasons why I couldn't see my abs. See, you have to understand that when your gut is digesting certain foods, when you eat foods that don't have a lot of nutritional value, or don't give your gut any sort of vitamins, your gut stores it. And where does it store it? Well, it goes right into your stomach. What your stomach is actually telling you is that your liver is fatty and it's using this area to store unnecessary fat that you would just not need to use because it thinks that it's in almost like a hibernation mode. And when you have this, it's just based upon the fact that your liver is fatty. It's because you're not eating the proper foods. So let's break it down really. Ab workouts are good, of course. Strengthening your abs are always going to be there. Now, you're not going to have any sort of definition if you don't work your abs, but they aren't the reason for you getting abs. The reason for you getting abs is lowering your body fat percentage to a certain point so that your abs show. And how do you do that? You have to cut out all the processed foods. So when you have chronic bloating or if you feel inflamed, any of those situations, they're based upon the fact that you're just not eating the proper foods. And again, like I said, when your liver is fatty, it stores it in your abdominal area. And that's what you have to look forward to. I used to sit there, and this was someone that, again, I would eat completely healthy throughout the entire week. You may not like to hear this, but I would have a cheat day. And my cheat day would involve donuts and all sorts of processed bagged chips and, everything that you kind of consider to have on a cheat day. And what I ended up finding out is that those days, they didn't just start and stop right there. They lasted the entire week. And your body is just trying to get that stuff out throughout the entire week. And what I ended up realizing is that me doing that didn't just affect me on my Sunday cheat day, it affected me throughout the entire week. So what actually wrecks your gut and makes your liver fatty? Well, the number one thing that I have to really, really kind of nail into you is processed sugar and sugar in general. I mean, there is a limitation, and obviously in, a certain amount, it's okay. But when you're eating an overabundance of sugar, which in the American diet has become 2-3 times more than the normal amount that we should be eating per day, you're going to have liver fat. And you're going to have that fat storage in your abdominal. When you eat ultra-processed foods, sugar, and all sorts of things that you really, in all honesty, are just not good for you, you're going to have this effect. When we didn't have any of these foods, we weren't like this before, where the obesity rate is so high in America. And it's because your guts aren't functioning well. You're not able to digest food properly. And the reason why we have significantly high obesity rates is because we're eating source of food that your body doesn't process, so it just keeps storing it throughout your body. And the reality of the situation is every place on your body that stores fat, there's a reason behind it. So the main thing that you want to focus on if you want your abs to show is cutting out sugar, cutting out all sorts of processed foods, eating much more fiber, and the certain amount of protein that you need for your body weight. A lot of us don't even get the proper protein for the body weight that we have. You have to measure out the exact weight that you are and get that amount of protein every single day and cut out all the crap. And I'm going to tell you an example of myself. I remember I stumbled upon this because I just stopped eating sugar for some sort of trial that I was doing. Long story short, for about a decade, I worked my abs out non-stop. Just could never see my abs. And I'm talking about I would have 45-pound weights doing rows. I knew I was strong in my ab, but they just never showed, and I couldn't understand why. When I did this little trial period of cutting sugar out and alcohol, it completely changed my life. The lower part of my abdominals, the one that you typically want to see but you can't see, it showed within maybe a month or two. And it completely changed my whole entire mindset on what actually gets abs. And this video is not just for abs alone. The reason that your abs show and the reason that you get more cut up and you're not such a bulky person is because your gut health is great. And that's the reality of the situation. This channel is going to be all about fixing your gut health. And the reason behind that is all of the problems associated in America for different people, it stems from your gut, but they're not going to tell you that because they want you to keep buying medicine. They want you to keep thinking that there are things wrong with you when there's not. It's just the choices that you're making on a daily basis. So if you want your abs to show, probably within the next couple months, depending on what your size is, and you want to see significant weight loss, you have to work on your gut health. And you have to start working on it today because it doesn't just affect the way that your body looks, it affects everything going on with you. Hit that like and subscribe if you guys enjoy this.